and it's on AppSumo. Hi, welcome to the recording. I know nobody's here yet. So every week I go online and do a live, and I'm getting used to the whole idea being on video and everything. So sorry about that. I'll turn that off. So we are going to talk today about being an introvert and also getting on social media. And this afternoon, we're starting, at least in my time zone, it is this afternoon. It's UTC 0 o'clock, midnight. For me, it's 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we're going to be doing WordFest. And it is a festival that goes 24 hours. And it's a fundraiser for Big Orange Heart. And they help people who are remote workers who need support, usually emotional, mental, sometimes physical support. And it's a great thing because a lot of people aren't at the spot in their business where they can purchase insurance, like health insurance. So, and even I know in Canada with our public health, not a lot of mental supports are included. So it's really important, and they have a really great foundation. I was going to say ministry. It is an outreach, and they help a lot of us who work remotely because it's a different game to be remote. So I hope you'll join us. I have just jumped out of the shower. I was kind of taking the morning off because I'll be working late tonight. I'm emceeing the first 4 hours, and then our so that's UTC 0 to 4, and then again from 12 to 16 UTC. So and then I'm chat mod 4 hours after that. So it's a great thing. I do support it. WP Barista has sponsored the festival. So have a lot of bigger companies. Bluehost, GoDaddy Pro, Cloudways has supported it. So it's a really great opportunity to help fellow coworkers. We don't often get a chance to work together with people when we're remote workers. So it's a nice opportunity. And they have this really neat place where they call it like a room. So like, I think we even call them tents. So it's almost like when you're at a real conference and then you go into that sponsored hall and there's everybody with their swag, stickers and whatnot. Well, they actually have these breakout things. So you go into the little chat room, and outside of the live conference, outside, it even sounds like it's a really neat setup. So it's completely free as well. So you just go to the link at bigorangeheart.com. And when you're done a session, then you can go to these rooms that break out, and they have like pictures. So from your camera, they have like fun frames, and you can take pictures of yourselves and then tweet them and whatnot. And they also are doing giveaways. So the sponsors are doing giveaways every hour, and there's games like you spin the wheel, do the thing, stuff like that. So, the other thing I wanted to tell you about is a great deal on AppSumo right now by a company called Postly. Yeah. The link is usepostly.com. Postly, like Postly, usepostly.com. And they connect to all of your social media platforms, and they're offering a lifetime deal. So most of us have been paying monthly forever to upload our social media and plan it and edit it and schedule it and all of that. That's this company. And it's great for agencies too. So if you run a social media company, the lifetime deal is still on, and you can create accounts and have, they specialize in a workflow. So you can actually get your posts approved before they schedule. So that's pretty fun. And If you have any questions, leave them. I think the only question, let's see. Let's go through the questions and see if I can answer some. Just logging into our support desk and see what questions have been left. So if you're interested in Postly, use postly.com. You go to appsumo.com and just search for Postly, find the deal, and then I think it's $60 for one coupon, and you can stack up to 3, I believe, which is a great deal, and it's a one-time for life. And usually they're not polished platforms, like there might be bugs here and there because it's more like a startup, but you invest in them and then you get to grow with them and you get the lifetime deal. I think it's totally worth it. Okay. Good question. E-commerce can get super complicated. And what most people don't realize is you just want to put a button up on the page and you want to sell your digital product. So you're not even mailing anything. So you don't need to collect a mailing address. You don't need anything that's really complicated, right? Except most people don't realize that for you to get that item connected to the button, which is connected to the amount, which is completely secure and goes to the bank, which connects to their bank so that they can transfer the money back and forth, right? And then it gets to your bank. And it's traceable. So it's secure, but it also has to be traceable because that person has to recognize whatever it is that you put on your merchant account that's going to end up on their Visa or MasterCard. And as soon as you start adding taxes, it becomes a much bigger deal. And the thing most people don't realize, especially really small micro businesses or freelancers in the States, is that the sales tax in the States is one of the most complicated in the world. And so I don't even go there. We just use a program called Avalara. I'm sure they have competition. I'm sure there's a few of them. That's one we use or recommend. And no, it's not an affiliate of mine. It's just one that I know of that's good, that integrates with WordPress really easily. Because what happens in US taxes is that it's catching up to the internet. It used to be that you bought something, you could pay taxes based on where you were selling it, where I live. And then some people, well, it's more advantageous if I don't have to charge tax. So then let's hold the server in this state, which doesn't have sales tax. And as long as the server's there, then we're going to call that the warehouse. That's the distribution center. Like there was a lot of gray area for a lot of years about sales tax. And I should probably preface this with, I am not an accountant. And this is not financial advice. But my advice is to get financial advice, because as soon as you start selling stuff online, you can get what's called a nexus. If you reach nexus in any of the tax areas, then you owe that government tax. So if you're trying to sell your cookbook, there's usually a minimum. Like in Canada, I know that our kids can, I think, earn $5,000 or something like that from like selling lemonade or babysitting, and they don't have to pay tax. They don't have to do an income tax form. Like it's just like there's a minimum that is just forgiven, I guess, as income by the government. When it comes to sales tax, they have cracked down, and now every state has a different tax based on location. And they all have different rules. Now, federally, at least this is what I understand from the sites that I've set up that have gone to their accountants and gotten the advice, is that you have to charge tax based on the purchaser's location, your client. So if your client purchases something, it's their address, Whether you're shipping it or not, doesn't matter. It's their address that decides if it's taxable or not. Now, and it gets more complicated only in the States. If you reach a certain nexus, so you say sell, no, I'm totally making this up. I do not know the real numbers. If you sell $10,000 in California, then that's their nexus. Let's just pretend. And that means that now you have to pay tax. So you have to pay tax on all of the sales going to California if you're going to reach their nexus in that year. I don't know if it's calendar year. Avalara figures that out. So we send every transaction and they can predict trends. Also, if you sell big ticket items, then it's going to be easier to know where you're going to reach nexus. Now, some states have zero. Like if you sell anything at all, you're going to owe taxes in that state. So it's important, as long as you want to do e-commerce on the up and up and not get in trouble with the IRS and the CRA in Canada, we have to charge sales tax based on our client's location. Speaking of, before I forget, if you have, if you're a client of mine, don't forget to email me to get my W-8BN, because you do not need to collect income tax from me, even though I'm working for you and you're paying me. We have a tax treaty, the US and Canada. So I have to claim my own income tax, but I don't have to pay income tax in the States as well, even though 99% of my customers are in the States. So you pay me for work, but then I claim that income and pay my income tax to my government, where I don't know how it works. It's all very complicated. I would never be an accountant. I'm just not. But I do know that I want to be, ethical and have a good conscience. So whatever I owe in taxes, I pay. And I strongly recommend everybody else to do that, because who we are in private says who we are for real. Like the true colors show, when nobody's looking. Can you be proud of that person? That's how I want to live my life. Like the congruency there gives me peace. And I can sleep at night. And I don't like it. I don't like paying taxes. but I like having a democracy. So that's my little rant for today about e-commerce taxes. I hope that makes it clear. There are, and even the nexus isn't even per state. It's per tax area. And I heard that it's not even per zip code in the States. It's per county, I think. But anyway, it crosses state lines. So we can't even do it by state. And I don't think we can do it by zip code, because I looked at that too one time setting up an e-commerce store. If we can just get the client's zip code and then determine the taxes from there, we can't. And sometimes you don't even have to pay taxes. And then sometimes you do. And then several times through the year, they can actually change the tax rate. So Avalara takes care of keeping everything up to date. And then every time that there's a transaction on your site, we send the information to Avalara and they keep track of everything. And we have to have a good integration between the two, because they also have to be notified if there's a refund. So everything that you do in e-commerce has to be done on your website, whether it's purchasing or refunding. You get into trouble if you start going to PayPal or Stripe or Visa, like your merchant provider, and doing refunds that way, because you're kind of bypassing your paper trail. Like we need the paper trail. So everything starts at your e-commerce store and goes that way. The point of sale adds a whole nother, like if you also have a brick and mortar store with a point of sale system and then try to combine the two, it's another level of craziness. One has to be in charge of the other, and they have to be in sync so that your point of sale and your distribution channels are like connected. Does that make sense? We're doing another one next week. where they have a warehouse and a point of sale in person, but they also sell on their website, and they don't want the website to track inventory. So that means, I don't know what that means. Like, I don't know how we'll know if there's inventory, if the inventory isn't matched up to the point of sale system, because then it'll say it's available on the website and somebody will buy it. They're going to have that inventory in order to ship it out, right? E-commerce is a whole nother level of crazy. I think I already said that. I would love to know, when you come in here, if you join me for my little rant, my Thursday lunchtime rant, I would love to know what you think of businesses getting on TikTok. And all of us as business owners, it's such a good opportunity to break into new audiences that a lot of us are trying it and feel stupid. So I would really like to find a way where I can be an introverted person and somehow film something that would be interesting to somebody else. Because I think, if you see me face to face, I feel like that gives you a better idea of if you can trust me. Because we're never going to have a coffee and discuss like your website plans in person in a portfolio. So you end up having to turn over thousands of dollars to somebody you've never even met in real life. And so I really think video is a good idea, because it, then I'm a real person. At minimum, phone conversations, but then Zoom calls where we can talk is good too. But before you're a client, that video is a good way for you to know who I am, what I think, if I'm the expert that I claim to be, stuff like that. I don't claim to be, and that feels yucky. That I have experience doing some stuff. Anyway, do you mock those businesses that you see online trying to do TikToks? I suppose it's how they do them too. I'm not going to be dancing around, but you know a secret? I actually really like dancing. I'm actually a really good dancer. It is when I feel most alive. I took Latin dancing for years. Bachata is my favorite. There you go. Something new about me. But no, I will not be dancing on camera, especially to those really like high beat things. Anyway, now I'm rambling. So I hope you guys have a fabulous afternoon, and leave me a comment. Let me know if you watched the whole thing. What do you think? And do you have ideas on how I can do videos that don't make a fool of myself, but still let people get to know me? Because that's kind of the goal with this. So thank you. Oh, and tell me what you're doing. Like, if you gotten onto TikTok or Reels, and are you okay with it? Like, do you feel silly? Do you push through? Or do you give up? It'd be nice to know how crazy this is. Okay. I hope you guys have a great afternoon. And don't forget to join me at WordFest. In 3.5 hours, I will be emceeing the first Australia segment. So take care. See you later.